Hello everyone, I'm Sammy Holiday. I'm here with a very special guest, Fillmore High School's head football coach for the Varsity, Charlie Weis. Well, here he is, Coach Weis. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
All right, let's get started. You held several positions at Moore Park High School, including the JV head coaching job. How did that experience prepare you for the job at Fillmore?
I was very fortunate at Moore Park to be able to work for and with a bunch of really awesome football coaches and some really talented football players. So I was coaching there for 7 years. I was an assistant coach on the varsity level for 5 of those years, working with wide receivers and tight ends. Tim Lins was awesome with off-season training, organizing teams, weightlifting, speed and conditioning programs. Ron Wilford's probably the best defensive coordinator that's ever worked in Ventura County. Ryan Husengate is the one who kind of taught me how to be a coordinator, how to program and plan an offense. And then, of course, Dearborn is probably the most accomplished athletic director in the county. And so from all 4 of them, I got to learn a lot. And I got to work with some great athletes. Drake London, for instance, I got to coach him. And, pretty quickly I realized that he didn't need my coaching anymore. But I got to learn from what he did well, what I could help other student athletes kind of grow and evolve into. And I get to watch him on Sundays, which is pretty awesome. So I'm really thankful for my time there.
What made you take this job?
I think the real turning point for me was when the job first opened up. I talked to some of the student athletes. I had been training a few of them through my speed training program. I met a few of them during my time out here with my wife when she was coaching. Talked to some of the coaches, and the approach that they had and the love of the game and the heart that they showed was inspirational to me, and I wanted to provide for the kids here in Fillmore the experiences that I've been fortunate enough to have. And so I wanted to bring them a top-tier program. I wanted to bring them my experience, and I wanted to give them an opportunity to show the world what they can do.
Your first season as head coach was delayed because of the COVID-19 pandemic. What difficulties did the pandemic present as you're trying to build this top-tier program in your first year at Fillmore?
Yeah, that was an unfortunate one. I got hired about 2 weeks before the pandemic hit, and I think there was a litany of different concerns that brought on, obviously. The 2 that I think were the most difficult was that I could not meet face-to-face in person with the team that I was coaching for the first 7 months that I was the head coach. It was all through digital, interaction, so we were online. And then the second one was that it completely negated our ability to do any weight training. And for me, that's a huge part of my system and kind of our program. And I would say 80 to 90% of our success over the last few years has been the ability to get back in the weight room, get stronger, and get faster. And so for me, that was really the big thing. Is I was not able to meet them in person. I wasn't able to start building the kind of camaraderie, leadership, kind of identity that we wanted to build, and we didn't have access to that weight room, which was really tough for us. That's probably a big part of why that first year was so hard.
So after the first year, expectations aren't really high, but 2021, you guys rewrite the record books at Fillmore High School. Looking back, what did you do and your staff do to make such a big turnaround in such a short amount of time?
So, after that first year, we went 1-4 in that spring season, and really, we looked at it, and it was important in the long run now looking back at it, but we looked at it as kind of the preseason for that next year, right? That 2021 season. And so we were able to start to install our programs offensively and defensively. We were able to start weight training after that season, and we were able to kind of show them what the expectation level was, right? We said all year that 5-game spring season was for the seniors. We were doing it so they could have an opportunity to finish their high school career, and that was great. And we didn't look at it as wins and losses being that important. It was more about building a program. And then when we came back for 2021, there was an expectation level within our program that was significantly higher. And we were able to develop some really incredible leaders in that time. They saw the difficulties that spring season senior class faced, and they took on that leadership role. So, last year we had, I think, 17 seniors, and each and every one of them found an identity and a role within the program. Whether it was being motivation in the weight room, being the cerebral leader like our quarterback was. We had some offensive linemen who were, albeit undersized, but brought intensity to the game. Nate Osageda, for instance. And I really think the success of 2021 came from fully realizing what we were trying to build in that first season and just did not have enough time or access to the resources that we needed to do it. They in my mind, saved this program and established a new foundation that we're going to build off of for years to come. And that class will always be one of the most important ones in my mind. I'm hoping to coach here for the next 25 to 30 years, and I know that it will always be one of the most important ones because they took a time in history when a lot of programs are, shutting down, quitting, not coming back at the same level, going to 8-man, things like that. And they decided to take an adverse situation, a challenge, and turn it into a motivation to be better.
A lot of the records that you guys broke in 2021, you break them again in 2022. With all the departing seniors, as you mentioned, how was this able to be done with all those guys leaving?
So, a unique aspect of high school football is that you have turnover every season. And it's one of those funny things where at the end of each season you think, this is the greatest senior class that will ever come through here. This athlete was, a phenomenal tight end or a great quarterback, or we broke all these records, and you kind of wonder, was this the year that we reached our peak? And one of the things that I learned over my time in a pretty successful program for a long period of time up at Moore Park was that it's all about how you use that to springboard the next season, right? And no two teams are the same, no two student athletes are the same, no senior classes are ever going to be the same. They're going to have different strengths and weaknesses, but if you establish a level of expectation in the way that they prepare, then the outcome, for the most part, is usually going to be pretty favorable. So we really look at it as process over results mindset, right? So our process is going to be the same, and we're going to get better at it. We're going to really go after our training in the offseason in the weight room. We do incredible work with our speed training. We're building our conditioning program. We've increased our facilities. We've improved our resources here at the school. So, we got better equipment. We have 3 times as many coaches as we had when I first got here. When you do those things, it gives students access to the resources they need to reach their fullest potential. And so that 2021 year was phenomenal, but it kind of raised what the students of 2022 believed they could do. Mm-hmm. So 2021 built up a belief, 2022 had that belief and then took it out there on the field every Friday, and I think that was a big part of their success. They owe a lot of it to that class before them, showing them what they're capable of.
Hey, I see exactly what I need to see tonight. A whole bunch of people out here wearing the blue and white with smiles on their faces, ready to play football for their brothers. That's all I've ever wanted, that's all I've ever asked, and that's all we need tonight. Let's get right on it.
How do you feel about this program moving forward?
Yeah, incredibly positive about it. I'm so excited. I mean, every day I try to find something that I can highlight about what we're doing. And there isn't always something every day, and that's okay, right? There's 365 days a year, and we are practicing and preparing football most of them, right? But for instance, today we were getting our new maxes in the weight room. And we get excited about new PRs for each student, and we do what's called an RSS, a relative strength score. So if you got a student who only weighs 115 pounds, but he increases his max by 5 pounds, that's the same or better than a student who maybe is squatting 300 pounds and increases by 5 pounds. So we try to give everybody the opportunity to see where their efforts are leading to improvements. And then that pushes us collectively to get better and better. And so, for instance, today we had the strongest RSS scores and total weight scores that we've had in all 3 years that I've been here. And a big part of that is this is the first class that has access to the weight room and to our program for the entire time that I've been here. So it's not exactly a fair fight for the previous teams that I've coached here. However, it does show that we are getting stronger, we're getting better. Every season we have done more and accomplished more and had more fun and made more memories than the one before that, and that's what it's really all about for me. So I have nothing but excitement and positive energy about the future years to come. We've got a lot of young talent. We got a sophomore quarterback, we got a sophomore running back, a sophomore lineman, we have a sophomore corner that all played a substantial amount of time. Most of those guys were starters this year on a really successful, heavily senior team who are going to step up and be leaders next year. Mm-hmm. We had 3 times as many student athletes in the program this year than we had 2 years ago when I first started here. So we had 104 different athletes suit up this year for us throughout the duration of the season. When I started, there were 27. So for me, I see the kids progressing, getting better, believing in themselves. We are accomplishing more as a team, and we're growing our family here. So I know that the future will be good, and I'm excited to see it.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you for doing this, and I wish you nothing but success in the future.
I appreciate it. Thank you for your time.